Welcome back, you guys. Today I want to show you real quick how to use the uni knot to tie on your line to your reels. So I'm going to do it on both of these reels the exact same way. This reel is done already. I just wanted to show you that I do it on a spinning reel. I do it on my bait casters as well as my bait casters for out in the salt. Because what happens is if you tie just a knot on here, it can end up spinning on the spool and you think that that's not working right. So let's go ahead and show you how to tie this on with the uni knot and then how to prevent it from ever spinning on you while you're fishing with it. Okay, so you're just going to take your fishing line like this, and in this case we're doing this on a bait caster, so you're going to go right through the opening here. Let me get this so you can see it. There's an opening down here so that when you're reeling in, it brings this back and forth across that bar or rail right there. Okay, so after you go through here, you're going to take and put a pinch on this line a little bit just like this, so that then you can angle it underneath here and go ahead and get it down to that spot. Then take some pliers or scissors or whatever you have handy and just go ahead and grab a hold of it like that. Okay, so putting the bend in there helps it kind of stick up and not come out of this opening on the other side right here. So it's easier to grab a hold of. Okay, so now let's go ahead and tie the uni knot on here. If it falls back down in there, just grab your tool, bring it back up like that. So you're just going to bring these two lines together just like this. Back. Go ahead and bring the two lines together, the tag end and the main line. And you're going to hold them together like this with these fingers, and you're going to cross it over just like that to start your uni knot. Now, because I don't want a big hump in my line, and I want to get a lot on here, I'm only going to do the uni knot with 3 turns instead of 4 to 5. So you're going to just go through 1, kind of pull it down and hold it. Go through 2, pull it down, that slack out of there. This will make it so the knot is not so big that there's a big hump in your line. Once you get it tight like this, you can help it with your fingernails and get it to where it's all clinched up just like that. Now, go ahead and let me get this line out of the way here so you can see that this is the main line going through the hole still. Here's my tag end and here's my knot. It's going down around that, and as I pull this, it's gonna go just like this and slide down to that spool. Now what I want to do is put this in the center of the spool so it doesn't start out on one side or the other. So I'm going to go right to the middle right there. There's actually a notch in this one for that. And I'm going to pull this tight and I'm going to push it down with my thumbnail and get it nice and snug on there, okay? Now go ahead and clip this off, and I just leave about 1/16 of an inch on here, not too much. Now you can see that that knot could be pretty big and it could lift your line up pretty high. So I'm even going to take a little bit more of that knot off right here. And normally I would not be putting this big of line on here because this is way too big of a line for this reel. This is 20-pound test I normally wouldn't use on this reel. I would use a much lighter line. I'm just using this as an example so you can see it really good. What you're going to do is go ahead and pull this out so it's kind of flat like this and get it laying down to the side here. Take your piece of tape and I'm going to lay that knot nice and flat here. And this is kind of why I want that line in the middle. This way, when I lay it to the side and tape it down, it's not pushed up against this wall, creating a knot that's too big for the line to go over. So now you can see you're going to be able to get your line on here really well. And if it does come down, even, let me explain, even when this is completely full, this has nothing to do, this tape has nothing to do with it coming undone if you run out of line when you catch a fish. What this has to do with is the entire length of braid, the entire spool of braid will actually spin on this shaft freely because it's so slippery against this surface that it's so slick that the whole spool will just sit there and spin and you'll think your reel is broken. So it's important to use this tape method, especially if you're using a braid, because these knots will not cinch down against this surface, especially on a bait caster. Even though I do this tape method on my spinning reel and on my bait casters because it's very important not to have an issue out in the field when you start trying to fish and those fish are there. The last time you want to have a problem when you have your reel out and you're ready to fish is when the fish are in front of you in the water, because they will not be there for long and you'll miss out on catching more fish. So I urge you to use this method when you're using braid on any of your reels. Put a little piece of tape on there. This is the uni knot that I use to lock this down with. There's some other knots that you can use as well, but no matter what knot you use, with braid to a slick surface like this, I definitely suggest you use a piece of good duct tape to do this and hold that whole spool on there from sliding. Again, it's not to keep this from breaking off if the fish takes all this line off of here. That's not what that's for. If a fish takes all that line on there, you're already done and there's already a problem. So that's not what this is for. It's to keep that whole spool of braid from slipping and sliding on this when you and it'll keep your drag from working. The whole thing will spin and your drag is completely tight and you'll think the drag's broken on the reel. So this is a tip for bait casters, whether you're out in the boat trolling or using a spinning reel. This is what I suggest you do. Using the uni knot and taping that down is going to keep this from having any problems. You just go ahead and click that bad boy over and start reeling it up. And it shouldn't look like that, of course. Again, I don't use this line for it. This is just an example. So if I was going to be doing this reel, this line, I would be holding this tight with something. Why this is on a rod, but just to give you an example that even when it's taped down on that side, that actuating of this alignment tool for the line is going to situate that line on there perfectly even, no matter which direction you tape that knot. Just start in the middle, so when you tape that knot one way or the other, it's going to lay nice and flat and not create a hump. And as you can see, there is no hump. There is no hump anywhere in this line. You can barely see any kind of a hump right there. Let me line it up to it. There's a small hump right there, but it's very minuscule. So that's what you have there. When the line goes over the top of that knot, it won't be a big mess with a big bump in there. It'll go across evenly and you'll be all set. Have a good day. Hope this helps you guys out. Stay tuned for the next video. Make sure you like, follow, and share. Keeps these videos going. It keeps our channel alive and our families fed. Have a good afternoon and see you on the next one.